If you've clicked on here to go through a quick 4-mark exam question, then look no further. This was question 20 on a GCSE Edexcel higher tier exam paper. Let's get straight into it. To answer this question, we need to know the 6 rules for surds. We can use rule 1 to convert the square root of 180 into 2 smaller square roots. As the other value on the numerator is 2 multiplied by the square root of 5, we can try to think of a number that when you multiply by 5 equals 180. You can either figure out the value in your head, which is 36 by the way, or you could just divide 180 by 5. So the square root of 180 is equal to the square root of 36 multiplied by the square root of 5. The square root of 36 is 6, and now we have 6 multiplied by the square root of 5 minus 2 multiplied by the square root of 5, which is 4 multiplied by the square root of 5. Next, we address the denominator. Anytime you see an irrational number in the denominator, try to rationalize it. When you multiply a value by 1, it doesn't change the value. Rule 6 tells us that the square root of b divided by the square root of b is also equal to 1. And we can use this idea to multiply a fraction with an irrational number in the denominator and rationalize the denominator. What can we use instead of the square root of b over the square root of b? Rule 5 is a modified version of the difference of 2 squares. A plus b multiplied by a minus b is equal to a squared minus b squared. A plus the square root of b multiplied by a minus the square root of b is equal to a squared minus b. This value is no longer an irrational one. So we can multiply the question by 5 multiplied by the square root of 5 plus 5 over 5 multiplied by the square root of 5 plus 5. The numerator becomes 100 plus 20 times the square root of 5. The denominator becomes a squared minus b squared. If a is 5 times the square root of 5, then a squared is 25 times 5, which is 125, minus b squared. B is 5, so b squared is 25. The denominator is 100. Finally, 100 divided by 100 is 1, and 20 multiplied by the square root of 5 divided by 100 is just the square root of 5 divided by 5.